1123 to avoid Fortnite. Now, when I heard Fortnite, yeah, I don't play Fortnite, but I thought of it. I ain't gonna lie, I thought of it. But coming off break, expecting greatness. Heard detractors before the chapter came out, and I'm proud to say that these people were so wrong about this chapter, right? Just the people and the expectations of this chapter. I'm so happy because I came to this chapter with low expectations, and this chapter, honestly, it made Egghead as a whole, in totality, better for me. I'll explain. We got a lot of stuff to get to. It was jammy. It was jam-packed. So let's not waste any time. One Piece chapter 1123 to avoid Fortnite. Cover page. Cover story is back. Yamato, pilgrimage. Now the kids that were stoning her, she is having lunch, dinner. What did they say? We don't know. But they're having Odin, which symbolic, makes sense. Odin was born to boil. Ooh. Odin, he likes things like this. So it makes sense that they're bonding over Odin. So it's just like the thing that Yamato loves the most in the world. They're bonding. So differences aside, we ate Odin together. So we're good now. Now, okay, I don't want to minimize this because the reasons behind the stoning probably goes and stems from Kaido. And I'm sure Yamato is showing the type of person that she is through her actions, obviously, and they are warming up to her. And so at this point, it's like the conversation doesn't necessarily have to happen about like reasons behind things and why things went down the way they did. I'm just proving to you who I am based on my actions. And then you just decide how to treat me, and clearly they're getting along. Now, again, I'm hoping for something much deeper with this cover story. So we'll just stay tuned. That's all I can say. The aftermath of Haki. Do you guys remember my thumbnail from the last chapter? And I'm just like, Oda, like, are you okay? Are you watching me? All right, I'm joking, because some people are like, oh, you think you're so arrogant? Do you think Oda has the time to come down and watch Unique? No, I'm joking. However, I thought it was interesting just how Oda and somehow Shanks always has to be in the mix when something is just exorbitant. He's just the glaze, right? The red glaze is insane, right? We had a whole movie about Shanks. Like Shanks pulling up to Wano, that wasn't, it's just glaze tangent. Let's get back to the chapter. Why am I saying this stuff? So we pull up, the chapter starts, and damn near everybody's knocked out. Vice admirals, cabin boys, Denden Mushis, right? Just everybody's knocked out from this Haki blast. Now, it's not just people being knocked out, because Doll eventually got knocked out. So it seems like she withstood the initial surge, but the tremor after the fact, right? The follow-up took her out, took her down, baby. Interestingly enough, everybody seems to be knocked out, even Vice Admirals. The only person that we see is up is S-Snake, of course, baby Boa. And so a few questions, right? And so Oda gives us answers. Question: is it because they have enough willpower to withstand Haki? Is it because they're Seraphim and Haki just simply doesn't affect them? 3, maybe Boa, S-Snake is just built a little different. Not sure. Either way, they are completely, she is, right? Let's keep it to S-Snake, completely unaffected. What does that mean? I would think the Seraphim would be affected because of the Lunarian DNA, and that's my headcanon based on how Zoro was able to defeat King, where Zoro used Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki, seemingly based on the fight, wasn't as blatant, but seemingly was the great equalizer and the reason why Zoro was able to take down King. And so you would think that Conqueror's Haki would be something that would affect Seraphim, but they are created beings. And so willpower, will they have the ability to use Haki? Who knows? But she's clearly not affected. Is she not affected because she herself is a conqueror? But that's not even the crazy part from the chapter. Here's what's driving people up. Dorian Brogy, they're looking around. They're like, yo, oh, shoot, everybody's knocked out. Everybody, I'm going to make my name for myself here. All right. all right. Dorian Brogy, they're looking around and they're saying, all of them are down. All right. That's amazing. That was greater than Red Hair's, but it didn't seem hostile, did it? And Luffy's like, So, what does this mean? Well, I mean, the clear answer is that Joy Boy's Haki that was stored was greater than Red Hair's Haki. Red Hair being Shanks, obviously. And Shanks, again, is, as far as we know, as far as he's treated by the fandom, by the story, by Oda, he's the pinnacle. And they're saying Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki was greater than Red Hair's. Like, again, you can spin this in so many ways, bro. And I'm starting to see it. How people are spinning this. 1, Shanks is a standard. And Oda, of course, is comparing Joy Boy to the standard to hype Joy Boy. 2, Red Hair can't even compete with Joy Boy's stale Haki that's been sitting for so many years. 3, Joy Boy's Haki, it was sitting for so many years, so it's like interest. It just keeps compiling, right? It's like, It's like wine hockey. It just gets better over time. So there's so many ways that people have spun this hockey feat from Joy Boy. We're removing all agenda, right? All that aside, what Oda's trying to tell us is Joy Boy is him. That's it. Joy Boy is one of those. And, you know, it didn't seem hostile. That can be broken down as well. It didn't seem hostile, did it? I'm like, are you saying that Shanks' Haki is typically hostile if it's this strong? Are you saying that Joy Boy's Haki, it being somewhat pleasant, is telling you that it could be even more potent if it's hostile? So long story short, at the end of the day, you know who's getting hype? Joy Boy. That's at the end of the day. Joy Boy's getting hype. Shanks is getting some hype, or you could say Shanks is getting slander because now he's no longer presumably number one, because some people was putting him even above someone like Raj, which again, man, I've been working on something talking about just different things in the story, and Oda is broadening the scope. Like, if you don't realize, Oda is broadening the scope for certain things, and comparisons and measurables, it is changing, and I hope people are paying attention, but I will point it out once the video drops in regards to that. Either way, great start. And Oda was like, yo, the meathead stuff, let's get it out of the way. So the Shanks fans, the Joy Boy fans, Haki, here you go. Here you go. Take that now. For everybody that stuck around, have a show. So Luffy yells at Emmett, said, thank you for everything, because Emmett dead, right? Emmett looks like he got packed up. Like, it's time to go just recycle. I don't know. It looks like he's done. He gave it all. He gave up the ghost to just protect Luffy and his friend. Now we get into the nitty gritty. Okay. And again, I said this chapter has done things for me for the Egghead arc to make it better. First off, for you people that keep talking down on Egghead, like opinions, they are what they are. Right? Everyone has. But it is a pattern of behavior with One Piece fans. Once we get to the latter stages of an arc, things don't play out the way that people expect. Oh my God, I can't wait to go to the next arc. It happens every single time. And somehow the arc we just left is just bad. Bro, we just left the arc. First of all, if we thought Egghead was done last week, this week made Egghead even better. That's why it's like, just wait and see. Just wait and see. So it's like, it's a standard that it's like a moving goalpost. That, bro, Egghead was so epic when all this stuff was going on. Now we got like maybe a few chapters just wrapping it up with Saturn, with the Gorosei, with Luffy, with Emmett. And now, oh man, Egghead is trash. That quick? What are we? Either way, we're off to Elbaf. Officially off to Elbaf. We're not stopping anywhere else, seemingly, I don't think. Looks like we're headed straight to Elbaf. So a lot of the things that we expected is playing out. I don't know. I expect some detour. I expect a detour. Unless Oda changes his mind, because he made some comments about some things happening, but they're off to Elbaf. Now, we're about to get into post Egghead, and post any arc is always spectacular. Remember post Wano, post Dressrosa, shoot, post Enies Lobby. These moments you remember. Post Enies Lobby, that was Garp, right? Post Enies Lobby, that was Shanks versus Whitebeard, right? Post Wano, that was Green Bull pulling up. Right? So these post Dressrosa, that was father and child, Fujitora versus the Straw Hat versus Luffy. So post, right? We look forward to post and reactions, and people are starting to talk about bounties. Okay, people are starting to talk about bounties. Something real quick, just a quick tangent. Do you guys think the Straw Hats are going to get bounty raises after this? If most of you guys say yes, I'll drop a bounty video, right? But you got to say yes below, right? Yes, bounty raise, and then you got to sub. I don't make the rules around here. Wait, I do. Now, back to the chapter. We're in the post. Seeing Bonnie Hakuma, who is, I think he a vegetable at this point. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's cute. Zoro, finally the go gets to take a deep breath. Usopp, he finally sees Dorian Brogue again. Nami, she has her bosom just resting on Luffy because he needs more food, right? He gotta make a name for. All right, I'm sorry. It's just stuck. Everything just resting on Luffy. I'm like, bro, those things are heavy, Nami. Let that boy. But Luffy, listen. Every time I'm ready to crown Luffy, I'm like, he's top. Then I see him like this. I'm like, bro, he can't hang with these top tiers, can he? Either way, the Straw Hats, big W's. Let me know, sub, all that. Now, this is when the chapter really starts. Yeah, now seriously, this is when it really starts. Sanji, Vegapunk looked like he dead. I still don't think he's dead just because how does one really die? Okay, we're not about to do that thing. But Sanji's talking to the body of Stella and saying, yo, what you said earlier, it's not sitting right with me. Was it some sort of gotcha moment? I couldn't follow everything you were saying, but it's pretty outrageous, isn't it? And so I'm like, wait, what is he talking about? Then we go into flashback. And this arc, flashbacks been hitting. Y'all remember the Kuma flashback with Rocks? Hey, flashbacks, they've been going crazy. So now we go back to Egghead 2 weeks prior. 2 weeks prior, before the Straw Hats were even there. Stella, Shaka, Pythagoras, they've noticed some fluctuations in Egghead, specifically anomalous readings coming from the power station. So they're starting to investigate. They start to deduce that saying, hey, maybe the Seraphim, they're using a bit more power, but it's meant to gradually increase over time. So that couldn't be it. If that's the case, then we miscalculated gravely. Then this is a problem. So then they go down the next rabbit hole. Things are increasing. The reaction is increasing, but things are too stable. So it can't be that. Wait, the data is telling us someone tampered with the mother flame to steal its energy. They're like, every point of the data, every single data point is pointing to the fact that somebody has carefully modified it and pulled off some or stolen some of the energy from the mother flame. And the fact that it was so carefully done that you had to pay attention to the fluctuations and different things happening with the power station, they surmised it had to be what? A Vegapunk. So the first Vegapunk they blame is Lilith. One thing I gotta say on Lilith's behalf, or at least on the Punk's behalf, is that the fandom together, once we found out it was a traitor, we immediately thought about Lilith. It was like evil, duh, her, right? Duh. And then it was either Lilith or Chaka. I mean, that's just what we do. It's too extreme. Well, one extreme, because Lilith, she's the obvious one. Then we go like, if it's not Lilith, it gotta be Chaka. Because that's the one we don't expect. And Shaka died. And it was like, oh shit, I guess it wasn't him. But it was like, is he really dead? Seems like he died. Now, it's just like, I'm just finding out so much because one, they're saying an insane amount of energy was stolen because of course, well, Lucia happened. So yeah, clearly an insane amount of energy was, but then they start to observe. They're like, we have to observe to see who the heck was responsible, especially Lilith, right? Because we know that he's kind of crazy. But then they said, well, to do that, we have to put our brains in offline stealth mode, basically incognito, right? I don't want to guess what they were doing in that mode. It's a mode thing. Now, the whole point of that mode is that I'm going to assume that their memories don't get uploaded because they're offline, right? It's offline stealth mode so they can function, but everything that they are recording does not get uploaded. I'm like, Stella, why would you give each of the punks access to this function? It's almost like if Stella was acting like God and creating these beings and giving them free will to let them develop their own personalities. And maybe that was the only way to do that, by giving them enough free will. But come on, you need fail safes. They should not be able to access stealth offline mode. No. Or offline. No. That should be only accessible if you so choose, because then it defeats the purpose of the sharing of the memory. And then it leads to so many blind spots, which Stella comes to find out. But the point is, we're going to observe, but what happens is it does so much, right? Because what they do is tell us what they're going to do to observe, but they also tell us based on how they observe with offline stealth mode, probably how York did it as well. So it answers questions and it provides additional answers with just that one answer. So masterfully done. Not gonna lie, I'm reading the chapter, I'm like, okay, he's cooking, he's back. This is the guy. Not saying Oda ever left. I'm just, the breaks has just been, but either way, let's continue. Fast forward 1 week now for the present time. Pythagoras is like, yo, I figured out who it is. It's York, bro. It's York. I promise, with my 2 eyes and my tail. It is York. She be lying to y'all. It was York. First he says the memories she's been synchronizing are phony. I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know that? And then he said he also confirmed that the surveillance snails at the scene of the crime was tampered with. And it's like, yo, why would York do such a thing? And it's like, all right, my bad, Lilith. It wasn't you, champ. But why would greed do that? I have no idea why the Vegapunk of greed would be greedy. And Chaka then chimes in and says, I've also found some evidence, right, that suggests that someone deployed an unauthorized weaponized sea beast. And that goes back to Cypher Pole. York was doing a lot. I'm like, she was sleeping, shitting, and scheming, right? That she was, man, she, like, watch out now. These women. Nah. Somebody pointed out that Oda had pretty much all the good Seraphim be men, not Seraphim, all the good satellites be men, all the bad ones be women, presumed. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean Oda is sexist or anything. That doesn't mean that. It's just so funny when you think about it, because it's like, I mean, probably coincidence. So they found out about the weaponized sea beast a jamming transponder snail. And so Vegapunk, being the genius that he is, he says he can reconstruct the call data. I'm just like, oh my God, bro. Like, they're incredible. And so they reconstructed the call, and they saw that York pretty much called the world government, was like, yo, he doing some shit here he should not be doing. He's trying to research the Void Century. Come pack him up, leave me out of it. I'm one of the good guys. Well, I'm Greed, but I'm one of the good guys because I mess with y'all. I'm not banging with anything he got going on. This is what he doing, bro. Come get him. Come take him to that jail. That's what York did. And they hear the call. I'm sure they was like, bro, what? She called Mary Jo. What? Like, she's like, no wonder the cops keep coming up. But no wonder CP Cypher Pole keeps coming around. But wait, where are they though? The crazy part about that is that literally the next day Lelouch gets packed up. So it's like, okay, York, what the hell, man? Like, York and her contributions led to the eradication of Lelouch 1 day later after all this stuff they set in motion. I think even in the midst of it, Vegapunk having Pythagoras observe the sea level is important, considering the message that we got at the end saying, well, in Vegapunk's speech talking about the sea level and it rising, and he's like, yo, something major just happened. Let's just observe the sea level and see what happens here, because things are changing rapidly. They obviously surmised that Lelouch had something to do with the Mother Flame, because obviously the power and everything was able to do. It just all the signs point to the Mother Flame being the reason why Lelouch got eradicated. Whose fault is it? York's? Is it Shaka's? Is it Lilith? Or is it Stella's? Is it Vegapunk's ambitions costing people their lives, their homes, their livelihood? It's like, again, Vegapunk, for the most part, I did not enjoy the character, considering how selfish, how ignorant, how blatantly just avoidant he was of consequences. And for the most part, if it meant him finding out more about science than it was necessary, that's the type of person he was. Somewhat flippant about it. It felt like that if you were the other person, but if it was for the greater good from his perspective, I don't think he meant harm, but I don't think you did enough in regards to procedurally kind of protecting things so that things didn't get out of control. Even with the Seraphim is one. But the satellites, they're you. You should be able to control you. So this chapter made me start to really, really enjoy Vegapunk, man, because he's accountability. You know what I said accountability is? You know what accountability is? And this is how hard accountability. You ever stubbed your toe, right? And you're mad about it. And you know why you're mad? Because you're the reason to blame. That's what accountability feels like. You hit your toe, your toe hurts like heck. And the only person you can blame is yourself. So you are set. That's what accountability feel like. That's why it's so hard, bro. That's why I figured it out. And then Vegapunk gets into conjecture. I love conjecture because we get the mind of a genius just starts to wander. And he says, well, indulge me for a second. Well, the world government, they definitely got an ancient weapon for sure. And so because of that, they needed a Mother Flame to fuel it. And so Lelouch was my fault. And then it's a quote, right? And again, translations, whatever, but let's run with it. For now, he says, only a fool lets their greed run amok. And I went and personified. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Accountability. So then the question is, what do we do now? Is there any benefit for just apprehending York? And he's like, no, it's probably too late for that, because they're still going to come because they know too much. The best thing we can do is somewhat set York up or set him up to understand their true intent for the flame. And I'm just like, their intent is to destroy shit. Like, just look at Lelouch. That's what they want. So like Vegapunk is still investigating, but also Shaka is saying, yo, we can just get out of here right now. We'd be okay. He's like, no, you can let the workers flee. And that's going to be even better for me, right? That's going to make me happy. He didn't say that, but that's kind of what he's insinuating. I think what I enjoyed most in this moment is his resolve, because he's like, yo, set sail for everyone that's working here. It's impossible for us to survive, right? And bro, no matter what, the Navy, they're going to try to hunt us to the ends of the earth. So that's dead. For us right now, we have to do what's best to kind of circumvent everything that's happened here. And so this goes back to O'Hara and their will being carried on, because Vegapunk says, well, what we have that O'Hara didn't have 22 years ago is the resource, right? The equipment and the way to amplify our voices as far as possible. That was the whole purpose. O'Hara was trying to research history and then broadcast history to the world. Vegapunk is saying, well, we're the future, right? We're carrying on the will of O'Hara. Like when Kuzan said the will of O'Hara is still alive, right? It's referencing Robin, but like, there were so many people, so many factors at play that's leading towards O'Hara still being alive. And this is one of these people that's continuing and building upon O'Hara's legacy, right? Vegapunk said something that's like, that's how fans feel. where it's like the closer I get to the world government, the more things become shrouded. You know, it's like, what am I looking at? What is this organization? And Vegapunk says, if I must die, I will sell my life dearly, where he's saying my death will have an impact whether you like it or not. Is he a D? No, but maybe. Shoot. Either way, with this chapter, I'm starting to respect Vegapunk so more, bro, because accountability. The toe, it's real, really difficult. A question that was asked, and it goes back to something that I've talked about before as far as the death of Stella. What does that look like? Chaka and Pythagoras, they asked the question, Stella, what exactly constitutes as death for someone like us? He says, good point. For these two, especially because these two presumably are dead, what does that constitute as? Like, how does one die? And for me, I was always like, well, the brain is still alive. So if the brain is alive, they're all alive. Personalities be damned. Bro, they recreated a call that happened. They can recreate a person. I'm not worried about that at all. But that was kind of left open-ended, right? How does a punk die? How does Vegapunk die? It's a question because the body's gone. How does Vegapunk die? I like the mention of the Cloud Loft technology, saying that this is going to be necessary to somewhat save humanity. And it's like, bro, when we talk about things going underwater, the Cloud Loft technology that can provide at least some stability, something that for them to be on whilst the water levels are rising. And so again, even in the midst of anarchy, I'm still prioritizing the future and the people within it. That's so good. I think that moment where York sees Stella at Emmett and York is just like, yo, hey, what's going on? And it's just knowing everything that York has done and York is doing is just so different. You got to act the part. But Vegapunk talks about utilizing and optimizing the mother flame and says, yo, if our experiments are good, right, and we can make this robot move again, like it'd be an insane breakthrough. And you know, York just playing her role, like, yeah, that's right, that'd be a great, amazing achievement. Yeah. And then he's like, right. And then he's like, I pray it never gets perfect, right? Because Vegapunk, at the end of the day, he has his experiments, but he's starting to realize, yeah, I don't know about this one, but he's also trying to withhold information. What I absolutely love, again, is filling in some of the gaps, just showing like, why did they decide to record this, right? And so for a long time, people looking at Vegapunk like, you're so smart. How are certain things happening to you? Are you just being ignorant? Are you ignoring these things? How does York pack up so many Cypher Pole agents without you knowing? How does York steal the Mother Flame without you knowing? Nothing, right? How does that happen? And so Vegapunk somewhat observing and letting a lot of this happen. I don't know. That's so 5D chess. It's crazy. Now, so at that point, Vegapunk plants the transponder snail in Emmett, right? And then again, resolve. At this point, because they don't want to act different, the whole point is to erase their memories. And so any abnormality could cause that, could be a tip off. And so they're like erasing their memory. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. It's so unhinged, but it's so good. It's like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing to protect the future. And so I enjoyed this moment. I really did. I don't know how people feel about this chapter in general, but man, I love this chapter. I really adored it. But in this moment, knowing that your lives are at stake, you're like, I'm willing to lose all memory of these events. And so, again, Vegapunk is being real, right? Understanding he's holding himself accountable and willing to do whatever it takes to fix it. But the whole point is to put things in place so that it will be their victory. The whole point is that they're trying to secure a great future. And so that happens with the death of Stella. So it's just like, bro, imagine finding out all these different things upon waking up. The letter in regards to his handwriting, telling him about everything that was happening. that happened, right? Talking about, yo, you got memory missing, right? A number of things, probably gonna be a surprise, right? But then the letter says, I will tell you what is the one thing? So Vegapunk, either way, always improving and searching for information. Y'all, I can't get enough of this chapter, bro. Probably one of my favorite pages in the chapter is Vegapunk reading the panel, right? He's reading the letter and it's like, the world government has found out about the Void Century. It's like, huh? And it's like, I'm already taking the best possible precautions. Just put your faith in me and die. And then again, one last thing, we don't know what that is. We have no idea. Oda doing Oda things. That's all I can say. But then they start finding out everything that's going on. First off, the Straw Hats. The Emperor Straw Hat is on the way to Egghead. It's like, what? Cypher Pole is on his way too. And this is Rob Lucci on their way there. What? There's like, well, there's a naval armada, right? Coming towards us. He's like, what? It's like Admiral Kizaru and Saint Saturn will be here to see you. It's like, wait, what? Can anything else go wrong? Can anything else go wrong, bro? That's such a crazy back to back to back to back. But man, that was so good. That was so good. Cause it's just like, bro, imagine upon to wake up, no memory, just like nation is just overwhelmed. It's crazy. It's crazy. But of course, anybody in regards to information that can take it is Vegapunk. Now, Vegapunk and Sanji seems like they had a plan, and he was telling Sanji like, yo, I have to die. Right? At the end of the day, that's just part of the plan. Because he clearly had a death wish, but these were things that were just set in motion before. Well, by him before this. I like that he clarified to Sanji that he does not have a death wish, where it's like, no, I do not have a death wish, but my death will be important to set things in motion. It's not just me wanting to die. It's me wanting and needing to set things in motion. Yes. I absolutely loved that moment where he talks to Sanji and it's like, yo, Sanji's like, I can't just watch you die. And he's like, well, one more thing. It's about the One Piece. I want you guys to be the ones who fight. And that's such a thrilling statement, an amazing statement, considering that, yo, this is what we're after. And you telling us this, Vegapunk telling us, saying that you hope we're the ones who find the one. And then the chapter, that final panel is great because I think it gives an indication of what's to come, where we have Usopp, right? Usopp in the hands of the giants and Elbaf presumably. And so therefore Elbaf, a lot of people feel like will be Usopp's arc. Now I will make a video about Elbaf and what's the expectations for Elbaf, but I think people should temper their expectations a little bit. That's all I'll say. Temper your expectations a little bit. Now, Sanji, a lot of people have been feeling like this is Sanji's redemption, considering Vegapunk dying is part of the plan. Now, Sanji was not comfortable with all this at the end of the day, but Sanji was privy to the plan and everything that was going on. So, hey, I think it's a big W. Now, it's hard to discern whether or not, like, a lot of these things, I mean, it's clearly planned, right? But as far as him getting packed up by Vegapunk, was that part of the plan? So it's like Sanji, based on the conversations that he had with Vegapunk, at the end of the day, when he was in a moment where Vegapunk could possibly die, it's like, okay, this kind of has to happen, right? And so either way, I think Sanji looks better in the light. A few weeks ago, when it comes to the chapters, where I was like, oh my God, not a few weeks ago, just in regards to Egghead, you know, it's like we got to a point where Sanji was dominating for a lot of the arc, and then we got to a place where it was just like, okay. And so props to Mr. Prince. He is back. Covert ops, that's what we do. And so, you know, this was a chapter that I think just it had everything. Like we talk about, you know, things being encapsulated for this chapter, it had every single thing you'd want. It had some action, some lore stuff. Then it just like had, bro, it's filling in that murder mystery, right? Where we're just like, what happened? It was like, well, we know it's York. How did things go down? How did this happen? How did nobody know? There were so many things that it answered, and I absolutely love this chapter. Y'all, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about it? I think it was perfect. Okay, let me not say that, but I think it was really damn good, and it filled in a lot of my issues that I had with Egghead and Stella's ignorance and lack of accountability, and he did that. So shout out. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about everything? Joyboy's Haki, is he going to be the strongest Haki user in history, or will someone surpass him? Also, how do you feel about like the fact that these Congress Haki users can knock out Vice Admirals? I know we don't respect Vice Admirals. There's only one that we really respect. Vice Admirals just get no love, you know? But yeah, guys, that's it. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BrogDAs. Follow me on Instagram at BrogDAs. Thank you to my page, guys, so much. Thank you guys. Like, subscribe. All right, great chapter. It's a lot more to break down that will be coming. Just stay tuned, but catch you in the next one.